one of our favorite topics, Governor Palin. What role do you think how do you think her role has played out in trying to galvanize this Tea Party around, at least as she says, to continue to make sure the conversation continues?
I think that her going on Hannity and the rationale she gave for Newt, at first blush, it sounded a little bit absurd. She said, "Vote for him to keep the conversation going and keep the vetting going." And at first, the first time I heard that, I thought that's kind of weak tea. Like, why doesn't she have the guts to just say support Newt because he's the best? And then I started thinking about it. That not only was it true that vetting is good, and that whether Romney or Gingrich comes out of this thing, they will be better off having been through the process. But I think it was really the best argument for Gingrich. I think there were a lot of people in South Carolina who, if you force them to say Newt's the best, Newt should be president, they might get a little hesitant. But if you said to them, vote for Newt to keep this going, vote for Newt so we can hear more, vote for Newt so that Romney will put out his tax plan. I think it was actually brilliant, and I'm not saying it was the game changer, but I think it contributed that argument. I think actually very much, and Gingrich hopped on it. By the way, he started making that argument and parroting it, and I think it was quite smart.
No, and I tell you, the week before on Hannity, when she asked for, just very simply say, hey, if it's job creations as your pitch, let's have some details. And oh, by the way, I release my taxes. It's incumbent upon you to have transparency and release your taxes. That's when I saw the tax thing getting to be a big issue. I think she's had a very strong role in trying to push the argument forward and keep this thing going. And now, what do you anticipate is going to happen? Are you going back down to Florida, and what do you anticipate is going to happen over these next couple of debates in the next 10 days?
It's going to be very interesting. I think that right now we're down to 4 candidates, and I think that is very good in the debates. I think it obviously favors Gingrich. He's the superior debater. The more time he has to debate, the better. I think this will make all the candidates stronger in the long run. I think it's healthy. I'm starting to look at Florida right now, and one of the things that I see, people who are smart who've been following this closely, who mention the early voting, that there very well may have been a lot of votes cast already for Mitt Romney.
Yes.
When he was doing quite well. And look, I think that's a problem with early voting, by the way.
Same here. That's why I hate it. Some
of those people might like to have their vote back now, but
yes.
It's too late. What if something really bad had happened? Like what if Romney had disqualified himself somehow? What if something had come to light? They can't get that vote back. So that's a problem with early voting that no one ever talks about. Everyone talks about access and convenience, but they didn't have as much time to make up their mind as other people. And I think.
What do you think the polling that's going to come out Monday or Tuesday off of his bounce? He was well ahead in Florida, Newt Gingrich, and then he's been way behind. Where do you think the first set of polls are going to come out?
Well, I just saw on Twitter PPP, Public Policy Polling, who is quite reputable, said that they conducted a survey tonight of 600 Floridians, and Romney won by 2 votes, not 2%, 2 votes.
Wow!
So I think it's going to be incredibly close. And you're right. I mean, Gingrich, had a huge lead in Florida about a month ago, and he seems to do well among older people. So. We'll see.
My guest has been Matt Lewis from the Daily Caller. Go and read the new article about Andrew Breitbart returning to CPAC and the new unity push at CPAC, the unity push throughout the conservative movement to take on President Obama in 2012. Matt, thank you very much. We're going to check back in with you next week down in Florida. Thank you, sir.
All right,
Stephen
thank
K.
you.
Bannon, the Victory Sessions. See you next week.